And we are live. Welcome, everybody. This is Peter Pongatti of Human Art Studios, and this is Making Comics Out episode 370. And with me is Ray Whitaker. Is that how you pronounce
Whitaker.
it?
Yeah, Whitaker,
Yeah.
you got it.
Cool, cool. Um, and we're here to talk to you. We're here to talk about your new book. This is your first published book, correct? I mean, self-published.
It's my first self-published book.
Yes.
Yeah.
How many other books have you done in your career thus far?
So I was part of some fan anthologies put on by people from the Cartoonist Kayfabe
Right.
Facebook group called Darkest Image and Darkest Image 2. I did a couple pages of Death of a Super where we reimagined the Superman number 75 all bloody. Like more bloodier.
Yeah.
But the other independent stuff that I've done was my buddy Brandon's book called Blood Soaked Sunday, and I was the artist on the first issue.
Nice. So you've been around, done some stuff, but this is your first self-published book.
Yeah.
How much of a challenge was it for you?
So the first one I did, Blood Soaked Sunday, that was a challenge for me. This was actually kind of easy doing the pages. I did have help from a partner of mine named Joe Flores. He did the colors and the letters. He's basically the head honcho guy for another studio called Tribe. So he helped me out with getting my book off the ground. But the challenges I would say for this is that there's a lot more than just drawing pages.
That's correct.
So if you look at the back cover,
which is that?
Yeah, the back cover, that's an homage to Wildcats #1. And that Spawn #1 has one too similar to it, but I always was fascinated with Wildcats, and getting this done right here, man, that was something else. I did the logos for where it says the Clashers and Recycle Man. I did those logos myself. I had to teach myself how to do that off Procreate. Never done that before. But then my friend Joe, he put everything else together, and everybody's name, everybody's website was all I got approval from everybody to do that.
Awesome.
And that took some coordinating to
do. Very cool. And you plan to do this ongoing as you can?
Yeah. So I'm already in the process of doing issue 2. And
excellent.
I'm not going to spoil it, but I will share this. This is kind of cool. So Peter, when I was a kid learning to draw superhero comics, I used to take old comics of like the 90s, like Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man's, Rob Liefeld's Youngblood, X-Force. I used to take those comics and I would take those panels and I would redraw them with my own characters. Mm-hmm. And that's how I learned how to do page design and layouts and the whole shebang, right? So with issue 2, it's going to be a complete homage to my favorite comic book I've ever read. But I'm not going to tell anybody that yet. Right. That's a surprise. But it's going to be a panel and page by page, panel by panel, homage to this comic book, but with my characters and my story. It's going to fit together.
Awesome. Look forward to it.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited to start it.
So I gather then that you're a self-taught artist.
I am.
Yeah. No, that's.
I wanted to go to the Joe Kubert School of Cartooning, but unfortunately could never afford it. So I had to teach myself how to draw, teach myself how to use. And I'm not a pro. Like I'm not like the best, you know. Like I'm not designing pages like Mark Bagley or Todd McFarlane. Like I'm just having fun with it because I'm not gonna make money off of it. I'm not gonna pay a bill from it, so I'm just having fun with it.
Right. Well, I mean, you love comics and you want to make your own comics. I mean, that's a lot of people in the independent side of things. That's what they do. Like they grow up loving comics and they're making their own characters and stories and whatnot. And that's the joy of it. It's like to not put any pressure on yourself and just have fun and just do what you want and put it
Yeah.
out there. Like, it will find its audience and
Yeah. What's really fun for me with Cypher Squad, and I'll share with you, Peter, that these characters that you read in the comic book, they were created like way back in 1992. These characters are over 30 years old, and they were so the core characters of Cypher Squad were created by my friend Alan Venable. He was the creator of those characters, and when we were in junior high and high school, they would give me all their artwork, my friend Alan and my friend Brandon. And I kept it in a binder with plastic sleeves. Like I kept it, like I preserved it, like you would Amazing Spider-Man number 300. You just gotta save this and make sure it doesn't get ruined. So around 2020, 21, when I started really like getting in the process of drawing my own comics, I decided, I'm gonna pull these guys out and build a universe around them. And so a lot of my characters, my friend Alan's characters, and my friend Brandon's characters, they're all going to show up in the pages of Cypher Squad. Kind of like how Marvel characters show up in Avengers books.
right. Yeah. Like the FF show up in Avengers and Spider-Man shows up in Thor and just like
Right.
mix and match and all
Right.
that. Yeah. That's awesome.
So I'm just excited to finally play in the sandbox with these characters that like are basically household names to me. Like you told me you like Ground Zero, right? The main character in the front,
Yeah.
This guy right here.
Yep.
This costume, this drawing, I've drawn him 1,000 times since 1993, and it's just exciting not only just to draw him, but now start fleshing an idea and a story around him and who he is. It's exciting, man. My friend Alan gave me his blessing to do what I want with the characters. He gave me co-creatorship, but in all reality, like that's only because I'm fleshing out a story for them. But let's be real, like these characters were beautifully created by my friend Alan, and I'm just blessed that I get to continue those characters in the storyline. So I already have issue 2 lined up. I know what I'm doing with issue 2, and issue 3 is going to be like all me, Ray Whitarce, artist, writer, letters, colors. It's gonna be the whole it's gonna be all me, and I'm excited to do that. I'm planning on having issue 2 done by April, and then issue 3 done by the summer.
Wow. Well, I hope you find the time. I know you're a busy guy.
I think I can. I have some windows.
That's awesome. And yeah, obviously, like, well, people might not know, but we met through Tribe, Tribe Studio Comics.
That's right.
And, we were originally going to be working together, but things got pushed around and whatnot. But you're going to be, are you still going to be, what's the character's name now? And now I forget.
Copper
Yeah. Are you going to be working on that?
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna dabble with it from here and there. Like okay, so Scott Shihai, he did issue 1 and issue 2, and I have those issues somewhere laying around here.
You also did was like 5 pages for issue 3.
Yeah, so let's just imagine issue 3 doesn't exist. So that's
okay.
So from what I saw from issue 1 and issue 2, the story doesn't really like. It's hard to read and it's hard to understand. So I proposed to Joe and Dustin, who run the show at Tribe,
right.
If I can reimagine or retell those issues in a better sequential order. So
Yeah.
I'm working on that, but I'm really sidetracked right now with Cypher Squad and another project. But my goal is to have Copper Star done by end of 2026. The idea that I have for it, my goal is to have it done by the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, like to me, I worked with Scott for maybe a year and a half. Really nice guy. So sad he passed. Um, and like we had plans to do at least a dozen books together and whatnot. But the other guys are in charge now. I decided not to work on Copper Star, but to just do a one shot for them. They have the character Black Bug, which is kind of like a Spider-Man character. I'm just gonna do a Black Bug one shot, pencil and ink, and probably have Joe color that.
Cool.
And that will be my commitment to them.
Sorry, they're currently working on Tiger Barb right now, an issue 2 of Tiger Barb.
Yeah. Well, they got a whole company of characters and books. They restructured it a bit and dropped some other titles and whatnot. But I definitely wish them the best success and all that.
Man, I create some cool characters. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, to be truthful, and Joe and Dustin both know this, but I offered to buy Copper Star from Scott.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we never got into the negotiation of money, but he said no right off the bat. But I liked Copper Star so much, I wanted to own him. Like I wanted to buy him. Like I don't know, like how McFarlane bought Miracle Man or however the story goes. But I wanted to own Copper Star, but they wouldn't sell it.
Yeah. Well, that's too bad. Yeah, it is a cool character, and I am glad to hear that you'd be restructuring the first 2 issues, because I read those issues and it was kind of like, well, I get the story, but it could be told better.
No, I didn't understand the story. I had to like read it 100 times to like, wait, that's what happened. This is what's going on. It's all over the place. And Joe even said that that he thinks it's a good idea, but we're gonna finalize some stuff for that this year.
Cool. So yeah, I was wondering something, because you said you had like 30 different characters. Like you have in the book, you have like all these bios of this team. But I was wondering, like, maybe you should do like a book with just the characters, like Marvel and DC did back in the day, where they had the characters and bios of every character in the universe.
That's actually funny you say that, because that's an idea that I have put together. If you look at my Instagram, you'll see like white background characters that I just randomly put out. Well, those drawings will be collected into Who's Who Marvel Encyclopedia kind of thing for Powerhouse comic characters.
That would be awesome. Cool.
Yeah. And then my friend Alan, he's agreed to do the backstory, like the bios and the stuff. But what's funny, like since you pulled that up, I want to share this with you that maybe not, you don't know, or other readers that read it don't know. But pull up one of those pages, the bio pages.
Sure. So, yeah. What am I doing here?
It's an homage to this Marvel card.
There you go.
It's an homage to this Marvel series. So the reason why I did that, Peter, was that you ever read a comic book, a team book, and you're reading it and you're like, wait, who was that girl? Like that you barely saw in the 6th panel of page 5. Well, who's this guy? But it's always talking about like this guy or this guy. But all the background characters, like, there's no mention of them. But you're like, wait, I want to know more about them. Well, I chose in Cypher Squadron 1 to cut down on the action, and I wanted you as the reader to know exactly who everybody is on the cover of the comic book before you finished it. That was my goal doing the book. I jeopardized a little bit more of the ongoing story, but I wanted you as a reader to know what's going on with all these characters and who they are. And I think that's what makes reading comic books fun, is to know the characters straight up.
Yeah. You know, it's like, I think if I'm correct in my memory, back maybe in the 70s or whatever, when George Perez was doing Avengers, they'd have the credits page, the first page, and little headshots of all the characters. That at least gave you, okay, this one's named that, this one's named that, and, you know, it was a little easy to follow along, you know, because the Avengers were always evolving and changing teammates and whatnot.
I wanted people to know who they were, you know. By the end of the comic book, they knew who Caliber was, and a little bit small thing about Caliber. I just wanted that because what really disgusted me about Star Wars Episode 7, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan, was we got introduced to that character Snoke, and we had to wait all those years for the 2nd movie to come out, or I should say the 8th movie to come out, to know more about Snoke.
Right.
But then he died, and you don't know anything about Snoke. Right? Well, the Cyber Squad, you're gonna know who everybody is before you get into the action.
Yeah. Well, we all know the problems behind Star Wars, but
right.
I have a feeling like Disney in 30 years is going to just rewrite the whole thing and do 9 new movies.
Right, but remember, this is a good thing to remember about Star Wars. If you're a Star Wars fan, they can come out with all they want. They can not make Star Wars, and we'll be okay with what we got.
Yeah.
Right? They never made the sequel trilogy, and we would have been happy with 1 through 6.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're coming out with more and more and more, that's just adding more flavor and fun to it, whether you like it or not. You're getting more Star Wars, and there's nothing.
You just pick and choose at this point. Like, you know, I like that. The other things suck. Whatever, you know. Right. I am looking forward to Ryan Gosling in is it Starfighter? Star Wars Starfighter.
Yeah,
that has potential. That has potential. Yeah. So so you grew up self-taught artist, copying things from comic books. It's funny because my first experience with comic books was actually comic strips and newspapers, and I used to, you know, read all the strips, but specifically with Peanuts, I would go in with a pencil and shade the characters, making them 3-dimensional.
All right.
So it makes sense that I'm mostly an inker now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had a love of comic strips and comic books, you know, pretty much most of my life. My father took me and Jimmy. Jimmy's also in the comic industry, for anybody that doesn't know. You know, it took us at a young age to our first 2 conventions. And the very first one was in Brooklyn, kind of not too far from home. It was like the basement level of a, you know, not a very pretty hotel. But it was a big ass room, and all along the walls were people selling comics and some toys and whatnot. But directly in the center was the one artist they had show up, and that was George Perez.
Oh wow.
So me and Jimmy made a beeline for George to watch him. He was just like sitting in a chair at a table drawing. It's like nobody seemed to know him or be talking with him. We just went directly up. And of course, Jimmy had like 100 questions for him.
That's great.
Yeah.
The first time I ever met Rob Liefeld, I wanted to ask him 100 questions, but.
Well, I met Rob in New York, and I shook his hand. And it's like, I've always been a fan. Like some of his work is better than others. His newest stuff is not as great, but you got to give the guy credit. He's done, I don't know how many books at this point.
Have you read the new Youngblood?
I've been watching videos of somebody like flipping through them. So I haven't read them, but I've seen them. It's a lot of it is just a lot of figures standing around or punching and flying. There's like hardly any backgrounds. It's like the coloring is very heavy.
Well, to me, I've always liked that. That's that. Like I don't know if you could tell, but like Liefeld is probably my biggest influence in my work and my art. I gotta be honest with you, Peter. Him coming back to Youngblood has really solidified my inspiration in getting my characters going.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't see it as the work of his that I love. Like if Youngblood looked like it did in the beginning, I would be picking it up right now.
Sure.
I don't like heavy coloring with limited drawing. It's not my cup of tea. I mean, like number one, I'm way too busy to be reading most things anyway.
Yeah.
I have a shelf of at least 50 books that I bought maybe years ago that I still have yet to read. I'm booked at least this year, probably into next year. So it's like, thus is my schedule. But
what's fascinating with what Rob Liefeld's done with Youngblood is that he started doing a direct to consumer on his Youngblood from his Whatnot show.
Yeah.
And he sold, I don't know the numbers of how many books he sold, but like it was successful. Like it got me out of my seat. I'm like, holy shit, like he's selling this direct to me, like he doesn't sell to the stores, direct to me. And I took I took notes from that. And that's how that's how I did Cypher Squad is I did direct to consumer. So instead of doing a Kickstarter or what's it called, crowdfunding, other sites,
yeah.
I have a full-time job. I saved up some money. I bought my books, and then I went and I self-distributed myself. I made my printing money back plus more. I was able to pay Joe some money, and I haven't been able to keep any money in my pocket because I paid Joe, and I just do it for the love of it. But the point is that Cypher Squad #1, self-published by me, is inspired in some way by Rob Liefeld's new Youngblood series. I have to hand it to him for that. Like that inspired the shit out of me to get my stuff going.
I mean, if Rob is good at anything, it's marketing and promoting himself. It's like he's definitely the master. Like, there's a podcast he was on recently. I forget, there's like 3 popular artists. I forget the name of the podcast, but he was on it recently, and he's just he's just a wizard at promoting himself. It's like I remember you telling me that, like, it's like you're posting your book, you're posting artwork from it, the characters and whatnot, and you say, you basically said on your Instagram that, just DM me if you want a copy of it, and That's what I did. That's how I got my copy. So it's it's something that definitely works. I'll ask you this right now. Like, I know you're on Facebook. I know you're on Instagram. Are you anywhere else online that people can catch you? That's basically it.
No, I was on Facebook for so many years, and my wife and my son, and one of my friends that runs a really successful strength and conditioning gym here in Yuma, Arizona. All three of them would always tell me, "Ray, you need to get Instagram. Ray, you need to get Instagram." And I held off on it because I'm like, I'm in my 40s. I don't need to have two social medias. So before I launched Cypher Squad 1, I chose to do an Instagram, and it's all about my artwork. So Instagram is all my artwork. I'll probably never share my life on Instagram other than my artwork.
Yeah.
So to me, that's my website. You know, that's where you can find me. If I get like a website where I can sell my books, then I'll have a link on it. But to answer your question, just Facebook, just Instagram.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame you. Like, I am more places, but it's time consuming. It's, there's a lot to it. It's like every site changes every year, and you have to keep up with everything. It's a lot of extra work. I don't blame you.
I just want to keep
it simple. So besides Rob, like you mentioned Todd, you mentioned some other people, like who else are your influences?
Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? This is cool.
Yeah.
So I'll share the story of how I found this guy and where I'm at with this guy. So I'm a Rob Liefeld fan. So Liefeld, he came out with a book called Blood Strike, and then 2019 or 18, there was a new Blood Strike series coming out by an artist creator named Michel FIFA. Have you heard of his name?
Yeah, he did a giant book of I forget what it was called, but I just only recently heard of this guy.
Okay,
so continue.
So I discovered him around, I want to say it was before COVID. I discovered him, and I really loved the way he drew, and the way he drew his pages, and he did everything: the pencils, the inks, the colors, and he did the self-publishing, and he did all the distribution of his book called Copra. COPRA.
That's right, Copra. Yeah.
Copra. Such a rad book, and it's basically like his version of Suicide Squad, and he went, I think, 50 issues. I think it's 50 issues he went through, but he's my main inspiration. Is Michel FIFA.
Yeah. I mean, 50 issues, it's a lot of work for an independent guy,
Yeah.
And yeah, I saw him on an interview. Oh, he was like sort of co-hosting a show I watch, and talking about his work, and they showed off some of his work, and yeah, it's very similar to
yeah, he so then I it's crazy. Like, I liked his work, and I liked what he was doing so much that he's the only person I subscribe to his Patreon, and I give him money every month, and that's crazy for me to do, but I want more of Copra and more of FIFA than ever before. And it's weird because I'm in my 40s now, and I'm obsessed with FIFA and his work. I'm not him, but his work and what he does. The same way I was when I was 16, 17 years old, or 15 years old, with Rob Liefeld and Todd McFarlane. Because when I was 15, 16 years old, I couldn't get enough of their books, from the Marvel stuff to their Image stuff. Like, I had to have it all. And it's gone full circle, only it's a different creator now. It's Michel FIFA.
Yeah. I mean, for me, that's part of the joy. You meet new writers, new creators, new artists along the way that inspire you, like some more than others, and I can get obsessed with a lot of them. You know, I'm meeting new people all the time. You know, I've had my channel for years. You know, I haven't always been consistent on it, but I've talked to, you know, a couple hundred people on here. You know, and of course, like, you know, back, I haven't done conventions in a while, but back when I was doing conventions, I talked to many people there all the time. And, you know, it's like, it's always exciting to meet new people, but to like truly gel with certain ones and just you want to follow everything they do.
Yeah.
That's like really awesome feeling.
Yeah. I after I published the first book I did called Bloodsoaked Sunday, I made a table. I got a table at the Yumacon here in Yuma, Arizona, and it's so small. It's like you can walk around the whole convention in 12 minutes and then you're done. But during the convention they had J Photos. Do you know who that is?
What's the name?
J Photos, Photos, and
Familiar.
He did work with Spawn and he does like the 68. He does a lot of horror stuff, and
Okay.
he was basically the first pro to come up to my table, look at my stuff, and be like, "I like what you got, kid." And I was like, "Whoa, that was huge for me." And I'm in my 40s. I'm like, "Whoa." I'm nerding out, and I barely knew who he was, and I was nerding out because of having that Comic Con experience.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's like I went to art school. I still consider myself self-taught because you know I grew up drawing all the time, and you know, art school is like it's just a series of projects to do. You know, it's like I had one great teacher though. I had one great teacher, and years later, when I was working on Aquaman, I was inking Aquaman for a couple of years. The teacher came up to me and looked what was on my table at the convention, and just looked up at me, and smiled, and like told me how impressed he was with my work and all that, and it was just the best feeling in the world.
Dude, that validation, that makes hard work worth it. You know, like I could show my work to my kids, to my wife, to my coworkers, but just to get that small little validation from another pro, dude,
Yeah.
like to be honest with you, you buying my book was a great ego boost for me. You know, definitely
Yeah.
was. Peter Palmiotti, pro inker, bought my book and likes it. I love it. That's good. Thank you, Peter.
Well, you know, it's like I really got to know your work when we were potentially going to work together, and I followed you since, and was checking out your work on Instagram and all that, and just, you know, it's quirky, it's fun, it's, you know, it's got that, you know, you may be 40, but it's got a youthful energy to it, you know, that you don't always find in comics. And, you know, it's like I forget where I heard there was like somebody putting down. Well, maybe it was the Rob Liefeld. Yeah, it was the Rob Liefeld interview. He was putting down like modern Marvel comics, like specifically Daredevil. It's like I don't want to pick up an issue of Daredevil and see him for 20 pages in the courtroom. I want to see him beating up bad guys.
Yeah.
And that's exactly, you know, it's like I could see that's what you want to really dive into with your book. So
my whole aspect of my work is I want to look different, and I learned that from when I collabed with when I collabed with a bunch of other, indie creators on the Darkest Image and Darkest Image 2 anthology series, is that I saw a wide variety of different styles, and we all were working on Image comic stuff, like characters that are near and dear to my heart. And here's this guy drawing Prophet, and he's not drawing it the way Rob Liefeld draws it, or he's not even drawing the way I would draw it. And I want to draw like Rob Liefeld. And I just over the course of Darkest Image 1 and 2, and to where I'm at with Cypher Squad, I molded my art, my style into like the way I want to be different from everybody else.
Yeah.
Because all my whole childhood, I was trying to be like McFarlane, be like Liefeld, and now I want to be my own.
Yeah. Well, your stuff is definitely distinctive, and you can pretty much tell it right away. So you achieved that. So we've only gone less, a little over 30 minutes here. I usually go an hour, but I gotta be honest, I'm exhausted.
All right. That's cool.
I will say, like, anything you want to say, anything you want to add, people know to find you either on Facebook or Instagram. Check out your artwork on Instagram.
Yeah. So this is what I would like to say. I want to thank my friend Alan and my friend Brandon for allowing me to play in their sandbox of characters, making it my own. I want everybody to know that I have a deep, deep love for these characters, and I want to make them household names. And eventually, one day, that will happen. Hopefully, one day Netflix knocks on my door or messaged me on Instagram and said, "We like what you got," and I want to share the wealth with my friends Alan and Brandon, which as a matter of fact, I didn't mention this, but cover B of Cypher Squad was drawn by the creator of Cypher Squad.
There you go.
I have a copy of that. I do not have a copy of it.
But you have those posted on your Instagram.
It's on my Instagram. It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want people to just follow me at Ray Whitarce 2. Simple. Yeah.
I'll make sure to put the link in after the show to make sure people can click on it. We've had people watching. Nobody's asked any questions, but a lot of times people watch the videos afterwards.
Wait, it's live. I didn't even know it was live.
Oh yeah, we've been live.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. I do these live. Typically I usually do shows at 4 p.m. my time. Now it's 9 o'clock at night, so it's not my typical audience right now. But I know so many artists and whatnot have nighttime slots. It's almost like network TV. You have to you have to be there a while for people to notice you. But man, it's been a pleasure talking with you. I'm super excited about your book and where you're going to be going with it. And I hope more and more people go and check it out. For sure.
I'm going to start sharing the process of issue 2. My tools, because I just digitally ink and all that stuff on Procreate. But my process, I'll start sharing more often on my Instagram.
Right. And I also look forward to your work on Coppa Star as well.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. I'll share that as well.
So thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thanks, Peter. I'll talk to you later, man.
All right. My pleasure, Ray.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. Go check out Ray on his Instagram and follow. And I'll be back around at some point. I'm working on too many projects. So keep making art, keep making comics, and be well.